The following is a production of the Department of Broadcasting at Western Illinois University.
Now from Macomb in high definition, you're watching Sinead Glasgow, Emily Manley, Storm Team 3's forecast with Nicholas Stewart, and sports with Tyler Eddy. Good Morning Macomb continues.
Coming up on Good Morning Macomb, snow is in the forecast, which will make for slick and icy roadways. Storm Team 3 Nicholas Stewart has your snowfall amount ahead.
Plus, students react to the response of Congressman Aaron Schock on accusations of unethical spending.
And News 3 will sit down with American diplomat Edmund Hall live in the studio to discuss the turmoil in the Middle East. New this morning, residents at Sigma Pi are thinking of ways to repair the back entryway of their fraternity house. Good morning, Macomb. I'm Emily Manley.
And I'm Sinead Glasgow. A fire broke out in the basement of the house at 304 Ward Street last night, burning the side paneling of the residence. The fire is under investigation, but the residents of the home say they believe that the dryer caught fire and then spread. Everyone was able to get out in time and no one was injured. Macomb City Council is discussing whether going paperless would benefit the budget. The city would purchase Windows Surface Pro 3 tablets for the mayor, city alderman, city attorney, city clerk, city administrator, and department heads that regularly attend the meetings. The tablets would cost $775 per person. Scott Brown of Timbuk Tech says that price tag does not include the $130 keyboard and cover, as well as the $10 a month charge per tablet for the syncing technology. The money would come out of the IT fund and cost the city just under $12,000. Fourth Ward Alderman Dave Dorsett says switching to a tablet will not only save money, but introduces them into the technology world as it continues to evolve.
It could be that there are some savings over the course of the life of the tablet, but it looks like it's a bit of a hard sell at the moment.
Alderman at Large Don Wynn says he thinks the tablets would be an ongoing expense, and he also says that tablets are not a necessity. First Ward Alderman Mike Wayland, did some math to figure out if this could really save the city money.
If we use 100 sheets a week, that's a total of $4.20 a week, and it would take 55 years to have this pay out at $12,000.
Alderman agreed to continue discussion on the tablets at the Committee of the Whole meeting Monday, March 9th.
Embattled U.S. House Representative Aaron Schock responds to allegations of unethical spending, including the $100,000 spent on travel in 2013, which is more than both Illinois U.S. senators spent the same year. Schock told the Associated Press he travels frequently to, quote, stay connected with his constituents. U.S. Today reports Schock has been in the top 3% of spenders on traveling among House representatives. The statement comes after reports surfaced earlier this month of the amount of taxpayer money spent on lavish officer renovations and decorations. With Illinois in a budget crisis, students are surrounding off of their disapproval of misusing cash.
I think that should be punished because I just don't think that's right. I don't think any politician should abuse taxpayer money like that.
I mean, he could do something way better than trying to redo his office. It's more important things than how his office looks.
Reports also show $24,000 spent on concert tickets for Schock's staffers. Schock's Instagram pictures of his office appear to have since been taken down. An Illinois state senator proposed reforms to the $373 million MAP grant program. The proposed restriction of Illinois MAP grants would keep the amount of state funding the same. However, it would require grant recipients to finish within 4 years, prohibit flunking students from funds for more than a year after, and a force of grads to repay awards if they have moved out of the state. The proposal has yet to be debated on by Illinois Congress.
Standardized testing, most kids can't stand them, and now they have a complaint that is getting some parents' attention. Last night at the Board of Education meeting, many parents voiced their concerns with a new test, the PARCC, also known as the PARC. Opponents say the prep for this test is taking up too much time in the classroom when the kids could be learning. The board agreed with most comments made and have already looked into other ways of replacing the test. Superintendent Patrick Toomey voiced that all standardized tests have the initial rough patch at the beginning, but this time it's different. A committee against the park will be holding a meeting today at the state capitol at 4 p.m. in efforts to make the tests optional for students. SGA passed a bill to paint the lanes on sidewalks through the quad. The lane will take up about half the width of the sidewalks. However, the adjustment is not expected to inconvenience pedestrians. Individuals will still be allowed to walk the entire width of the path. The lane will simply give cyclists a space to ride should they come through. The painting is expected to take place over spring break.
Country music fans at Western Illinois University are in for a treat as March approaches. Western Union Board will host country singer Chase Rice to perform in the University Union on March 4th. Chase Rice has made it to the Billboard charts for his vocal and songwriting skills. The Union Board concert chair, Marissa Weibert, says that they are expecting quite a big turnout.
I really think it'll be a huge success. I think actually we're going to hit capacity. We literally sold like 80 tickets in 1 hour on Thursday too. So it's been incredible to watch too. I'm just beyond excited.
Yeah. For information, fans can visit the Hainline box office in Brown Hall.
Coming up on Good Morning Macomb, the former ambassador to Yemen under President George W. Bush will be joining us today in the studio.
That's right, I will be sitting down with former Ambassador Edmund Hall as he talks of his past experience in Yemen and about some issues our country is currently facing.
It goes into effect this afternoon at 3 o'clock, but right now, taking a look outside, it's the calm before the storm. Mostly cloudy skies ahead of the storm system. We're at 22 degrees. But winter weather advisories, as we said, go into effect at 3 o'clock this afternoon. That is these purple shaded counties here. Have your totals off to further to our west, where those pink counties are, where that's winter storm warnings. Clipper system is moving into the north. That's what's heading our way. How much and when's it going to get here? Full look at the forecast in a couple minutes.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I think NEWS3 is great. It's all one common goal. Everybody's trying to be #1. Last year we were #1 in the nation. We beat out Florida and Oklahoma. I get to work with so many professionals. It's a really great experience, and they're always there to help, and it's just all around fun. Jasmine Crichton really does make it a real-life experience that most schools maybe not. They don't offer that.
When the big stories strike, count on award winners to provide you intimate and in-depth coverage. On the air and online, local news, fresh perspective. Before the lights go on, dedication, teamwork, precision. Award-winning leadership brings you Macomb's only local TV newscast. On the air, live at 4, Friday mornings at 10, and online all the time. Our community, your community, NEWS3.
Take your train to go. Stand by 3 for the push in.
Now from Macomb in high definition, you're watching Sinead Glasgow, Emily Manley, Storm Team 3's forecast with Nicholas Stewart, and sports with Tyler Eddy. Good Morning Macomb continues.
Continued instability in Yemen, fracturing of Iraq, and escalating attacks by ISIS. What do these incidents mean for the United States? Joining us this morning is Keokuk, Iowa native and former ambassador to Yemen, Edmund Hall. Minister Hall, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I know that you have a busy day ahead.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you for taking the time for coming here and joining us on Good Morning Macomb.
It's a pleasure.
Now, what should the United States be more involved in what's happening in the Middle East? What do you think we should know that we haven't been told already?
Well, I think the United States needs Goldilocks involvement in the Middle East. And by that I mean pre-9/11 we were insufficiently involved, especially in Afghanistan, and we paid a heavy price for that because Al-Qaeda managed to operate successfully from there. Post 9/11, we were over-involved in the Middle East, especially in Iraq. We had two larger presidents. We exacerbated the situation. So the challenge now is to stay engaged, but engage in the right way. And I think the Obama administration appreciates that and is very carefully calculating our engagement. They have a few new tools in that regard. They have special forces, which are ramped up. They have a drone program, which is sophisticated. But there'll be new challenges and needs for new strategies and tactics.
You took the role of the ambassador after 9/11,
right.
And then you took the time to go over to Yemen, and then you wrote a book about it. And we have your copy of your book right here. Can you explain what your book is about?
Sure. One of the major conclusions of the commission that studied the World Trade Center attacks was that we needed strategies for every area of the world where Al-Qaeda was trying to establish a safe haven. And prominent among these were Yemen. So my job was to go over there and to come up with a strategy for defeating, countering Al-Qaeda in Yemen. And what I do in the book is explain how we evolved that strategy and then how we executed that strategy.
And because of your book, you wrote your experience over there. Can you explain just what those 3 years were like for you?
Well, it was quite intense. We were under a great deal of pressure. Al-Qaeda was trying to kill us. We were trying to kill Al-Qaeda. And there was much at stake, obviously, in who won that battle. It was also very challenging because Yemen had been really on the wrong side and against the United States in the first Gulf War. And so we had to, through diplomacy, convince them that post 9/11 they need to switch sides and be a part of the international coalition countering Al-Qaeda. And that's where diplomacy was key, and that was my job.
Now, authorities in Spain have arrested 4 people suspected of using social media to find potential militants for ISIS. Let's roll a clip from Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, on that subject.
I suspect these groups are competing for attention. ISIL has received a lot of attention through their very effective use of the internet, social media, and we're now seeing, for example, AQAP in its most recent edition of Inspire, a whole chapter on how to build a non-metallic device.
How is social media playing a part in recruitment, as we just heard from Jay Johnson?
Well, Mr. Johnson refers to Inspire and AQAP. That's the Al-Qaeda affiliate in Yemen. And they really pioneered use of the internet to inspire terrorism, to recruit terrorists. Now, ISIS has taken it to a new level by publicizing the brutality of their ideology, and also by using it actively to recruit on a mass scale. This is a new challenge for the United States. We are beginning to meet this new challenge. The State Department, for example, has a special information office to try to counter this internet appeal. President Obama last week had a summit meeting in Washington to try to enlist the aid of Islamic and other community leaders in countering violent extremism. But we've got a ways to go before we have an effective response to this tactic.
Including social media and the way that ISIS is trying to recruit people. How have you seen terrorism change since 9/11 when you became the ambassador to Yemen?
Pre-9/11, we had pretty much one entity, Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, that was bedeviling us, and we were able to concentrate our efforts there. Since then, we've seen a franchising of the Al-Qaeda brand, and so we've had Al-Qaeda in Yemen, Al-Qaeda in North Africa, and a proliferation of the threats. And now with ISIS, the big change is that you have a violent Islamic group that actually controls territory and can use that territory to consolidate their organization, to recruit, to train, to plan. And this is an escalation of the threat and something that we will be hard-pressed to counter effectively.
Well, thank you very much for explaining that to all of us, because I know coming from your standpoint is different than what we read in the news, because you have seen it more in depth and you have taken it in person. Tonight he will speak to the campus of WIU and the public at 5:30 in Stipes Hall, room 121, and he will be talking about his events that he has seen in the Middle East and what is going on today, along with, I'm sure you'll talk about your book a little more. Don't change your channel, because Nicholas Stewart is in the Weather Center next with this winter advisory to see how much snow we will get. Stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move?
In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
Mine eyes have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Taking a look outside right now, we're looking at mostly overcast skies as the storm system starts approaching us. We're on the colder side of things, only at 22 degrees this morning. That is cold enough for the snow to fall, so temperature is not going to be a concern with forecasting the snowfall. But when it gets here, that's going to be the tricky portion. A lot of dry air aloft. Looking off to our northwest, you can see the storm system slowly approaching us, hitting Iowa pretty hard this morning. There is a lot of dry air out ahead of the storm system, so a lot of this returns, especially on the far eastern edge. A lot of this isn't actually reaching to the ground, because a lot of it is drying up before it reaches there. So it's going to take some time for this to move into our area. That's why the winter weather advisory goes into effect at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Temperature-wise, you can see where the storm system is. It's much cooler, only 21 degrees Des Moines. Davenport sitting at 19 degrees. Looking off to the east, though, that's where the cold air is, and that's what's coming our way after our storm system approaches and after our storm system passes. 14 degrees in Chicago at this hour, so pretty chilly out there. Again, we have the storm system that's moving on through the Midwest this afternoon. It's this low pressure center sitting right over far eastern Nebraska. It's going to trail right along this cold front, move just off to our south, putting us in the perfect position for that accumulating snowfall. Again, we could be looking at a couple inches basically through the afternoon, and it'll continue on through the overnight hours. Looking at the actual snowfall forecast, sitting in the green areas, looking about 4 to 6 inches of snowfall, but notice a very sharp cutoff to our south. So depending on the track of the storm system, we could be looking at varying snow totals. So even looking just a little bit more to the north, just off to our northern end of our county, upward to 6 to 8 inches of snowfall. So depending on where the heavy snowfall sits, that's what's going to be a really tricky forecast today. But we are pretty confident that we are going to see upwards of about 5.5, maybe 6 inches of snow by the time the storm system is all said and done. And by that I mean the storm system is going to continue to track off to our southeast. We're going to be dealing with some more snowfall early tomorrow morning, probably taper off by tomorrow afternoon. But that's when the cold starts to move in. This high pressure starts building it off to our northwest. That's going to bring all this cold air from Canada into our region, bringing our temperatures down back into the sub-zero range again, unfortunately. But again, we never stop looking at the future, looking at the next storm chance this weekend. Winter storm is going to track just off to our south, putting us once again in the prime spot for accumulating snowfall. We're looking at another accumulating snowfall, maybe 6 to 8 inches, depending on where that sits up. There's a lot of changes that can take place over the next few hours. We'll be watching it closely, and you can follow updates on that on our Facebook and Twitter pages. But for today, we're looking at a high of about 25 degrees. Not going to increase too much on the temperature side of things. Snow will begin mainly after 4 o'clock, and again, that winter weather advisory goes into effect today at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Tonight, we're looking again at most snowfall continuing. Snow accumulation by the time we're all said and done, about 5 inches of snow, maybe a little bit more in isolated areas. The winds are also going to start increasing, gusts upwards of 25 to 30 miles per hour. They'll be blowing a lot of the snow, decreasing your visibilities a little bit. 5-day forecast. After the storm system comes through, looking at temperatures going to bottom out. Sub-zero range again for Thursday night into Friday night. But temperatures begin to rebound as we head towards the weekend, just in time for our next winter system to move in through late Saturday and into Sunday morning. Again, another accumulating snowfall event. We don't exactly know how much today. We don't exactly know the track of it either, but we'll keep an eye on it for you. So unfortunately, spring is coming soon, but not forecast,
it's like less than a month away. Like, my birthday is the first day of spring, and I don't see spring anywhere. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean, March 1st is what we call meteorological spring. That's the first day of meteorological spring, and looking at snowfall forecasts. So I'm not too happy about that.
Yeah, possibly 6 inches. We don't know yet, depending
in terms
on
of,
today,
where it goes. Later on the afternoon tonight, maybe upwards of 6 inches. I would say that's on the higher side of things.
It's still a lot of snow.
Oh yeah, a lot of not going to be fun going to school tomorrow.
No, not at all. Well, thanks, Nick. Tyler, what do you have for us?
One place that's probably colder is the Dakotas. And coming up next in sports, the Western Illinois women's basketball team will look to continue its hot streak tomorrow night in South Dakota. And up next, the Western Illinois men's basketball team has its eyes set on the 2015 Summit League tournament.
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who...
What?
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. HSF.net.
What did you want to be when you grew up? Now, how do you make it happen? Think purple, think success, think Western Illinois University.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Good morning, Western Illinois. With March just around the corner, that can only mean one thing. The madness of postseason college basketball is about to kick off. News 3's Drew Hoffman caught up with the Western Illinois men's basketball team earlier this week to get its thoughts heading into the Summit League tournament.
As the Western Illinois men's basketball season begins to wind down, key players for the team are beginning to realize how big of an impact late season games will have on their season as the Summit League tournament rolls around.
We have to play for seeding because, I mean, at the end of the day, if we say we get a lower seed, we have to play South Dakota State the first game, and that's like a home game for them, basically. And, I mean, we're playing for that, and we just want to have some momentum going into the tournament.
The Leathernecks have lost to the top two teams in the Summit League by a total of 4 points inside of Western Hall this season. Despite those losses, the team is still very confident in their ability.
It stays the same. I mean, we just try not to let the fans get to us, try to just focus on us and worry about what we have to do to execute. And, I mean, basically just continue to work hard and, listen to the coaches and just stick to the plan.
Coach Billy Wright will have 28 games under his belt as the head coach at WIU when the Summit League tournament begins. And after a roller coaster of a season, Wright says he does not want the identity of the team to change despite the adversity the program has faced.
It's still defensive minded. We definitely understand that defense wins championships, and right now we just have to do it with 4 guards a little bit more than we have, because the one thing I'm cautious against is getting that first foul on Chapman or Mo so quickly. If you get that first foul within the first minute or two, then you're really looking at a 4-guard lineup for 35 minutes.
Reporting for News 3, I'm Drew Hoffman.
And thanks for that, Drew. The men's team will take on IUPUI and IPFW tomorrow and Saturday before heading to Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the Summit League tournament, which starts on March 7th. And the Western Illinois women's basketball team will also close out its season on the road. The ladies are currently on their way to South Dakota, where they'll play the South Dakota State Jackrabbits tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And Saturday, the team will travel to Vermillion, South Dakota for a regular season-ending showdown against the Coyotes. That game is scheduled to tip at 1:30. So that's all the time we got for sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tyler. A very special mascot will be celebrating his birthday next week.
And we'll tell you just who that is after the break.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
This job looks perfect. It says you need a high school diploma. You've got one of those, right?
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
I got that.
Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Used to call me the buttered biscuit. Back then I was a sex expert. I know about birth control, too.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
No more pencils, no more books. No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
Colonel Rock III is turning 5 years old next week. According to University Relations, the beloved mascot will be celebrating his 5th birthday with all of you. He'll be at the Union from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. giving out cupcakes, yum, buttons, and he'll even pose for a cute little picture.
Colonel Rock joined the Leatherneck family just weeks old. The English Bulldog was a donation to WIU and is being taken care of by Joe's Robley and the Director of Residential Facilities. Happy birthday to Colonel Rock.
Yes.
Thank you for waking up with us this morning here on Good Morning Macomb. For Tyler Eddy, I'm Emily Manley.
And for Nicholas Stewart, I'm Shanae Glasgow. We'll stay on top of your news overnight and bring you the latest updates on our Facebook page. Find us at News 3 WIU.
Have a good morning, Macomb, and stay warm.